Hello and good day, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ronnie. I sell stuff online. The two main platforms that I do that on are eBay and now Whatnot. Previously, it was Bricklink. I love Lego. I love buying it. I love selling it. It's a thing. This video is going to be all about my month in the month of April, how I did my sales figures on both eBay and Whatnot. I got to tell you, I just got done inputting all of this information. The numbers are still sinking in. How good of a month I had, and it feels so good to have a goal for yourself and to achieve that goal. So to kind of backtrack a little bit and give you a little bit of the behind the scenes, where all of my mind was going with all of this, January of this year, one of my New Year's resolutions was to double down on eBay. I wanted to list one item every day. That was my original goal. Well, that blossomed into a metamorphosis of whatever it is now, and I'm listing anywhere from like 5 to 10 items a day. The last 2 months I've maxed out the number of free listings I can get, which is 250 per month. So I'm listing a lot. I've got a little bit over 300 active listings on eBay currently, and as you can see from the numbers, I sell a lot of stuff on eBay. It's been awesome. However, this month was a game changer, a total game changer. I found out about the platform Whatnot via Harry Tornado. If you're not following their channel, and you're following mine, I don't know how that happened. I don't know that demographic of person, but if you are, cool. Harry Tornado has an awesome YouTube channel. He started selling stuff on Whatnot with his wife Haley, and I thought it looked like a lot of fun. And then I saw Scott's Toys, Dave, get in on the action, and he was selling Lego on Whatnot, and I said, I think that's fun. I want to try that out. I've got a lot of Lego. Did an auction, thought it was great, and then I had the idea of I would really like to purge my entire Bricklink store. I would like to sell every part that I have because, frankly, I'm tired of parting out sets. I'm tired of very small amounts of profit. I'm tired of dead inventory. You part out a set, some of the parts will sell. A lot of them just sit in your store and they just never ever sell. Whereas on eBay, you can buy a Under Armour polo and you can see, well, that Under Armour polo sold or it didn't. You can lower the price. You can move that inventory. It's a lot more fluid. I like that a lot better. So I saw Whatnot as an opportunity to purge my Bricklink store, to get some extra capital, to reclaim some space in my basement, to further expand the eBay operation. And the thing that really set me off on this goal for the month of April was that the representative from Whatnot that I interviewed with said, hey, oh, by the way, we're not going to charge you any selling fees for your first 30 days. Okay, now I know that I have a task, I know that I have a goal, and I know that if I achieve that, I'm going to maximize the amount of profits that I can get in general, not only for my Bricklink inventory. So before I started selling all of the parts from my Bricklink store, I looked at the dollars worth that I was asking for all those parts, and it was around $7,000. Now, that amount of money is my asking price. Keep in mind that there's a lot of inventory on Bricklink that just never, ever sells. So it's very likely that I would have never, ever gotten $7,000 for all of that. So kind of keep that number in mind as we kind of move through the figures today. So you can look at previous months right now on the screen. You can see that Bricklink was pretty solid for me. In January, we had $1,300 worth of sales. Same thing in February. And then in March, $800 worth of sales. I don't have that broken down. So some of that is parts. Some of that is sealed sets. Really, a lot of that is probably sealed sets and minifigures. So the amount of parts that I was selling on any given month, my store, just to kind of give you an idea if this means anything to you at all, I was around 60 to 70,000 parts constantly. So maybe I would part out a bunch of sets and it would get up towards 80, but then I'd get a bunch of orders and it would come back down to 70. I had a tough time moving from 60 to 70 to 80. It was kind of the range that I was within there. So that's the size of my store, if you're familiar with the size of Bricklink stores. It was a lot. It's a lot for one person to manage, to maintain, to keep up with, and I was just not enjoying it anymore. So I purged the Bricklink collection. Today, it is May 2nd, and I've got my very final Whatnot auction where I'm going to get rid of the rest of my parts. I don't have that much left to go, but I made it. So April 4th was my very first Whatnot auction. So I'm within the 30 days. I'm going to pay no fees on any of this stuff other than the little 30 cent per transaction fee, which is like for payment. So feels good to accomplish that goal, and I'm excited for what comes next. But without further ado, let's get into a little bit more of the weeds of these sales figures for this month. So on eBay, we had 86 items that we sold compared to last month, 82, the month before 83, January 72. So the most items that I've sold on eBay to date, which kind of surprises me because probably the last 2 weeks of April, I didn't list anything on eBay because I had already maxed out the number of listings that I can have for free on eBay. And so now if I want to list more than 250 items on eBay, I've got to subscribe to eBay. Essentially, there's a store that you can purchase, and I think it's around maybe like $15 to $20 a month. That would allow me to save on my selling fees. So I think it would be like a net neutral because of the amount of stuff that I'm selling now, and I would get about a percentage less off of my selling fees. And it would allow me to list as many items as I want on eBay. So we'll probably be doing that in the near future after we get through all of this Lego parts extravaganza that we're doing. Whatnot is a little bit different, so the tracking's a little bit different, but I did the best that I could to kind of come up with some numbers to give myself and you guys an idea of how things went. On Whatnot, they went stupendously. So I did 13 auctions in the month of April, which is a lot for a dude that has a full-time job and does the selling thing kind of on the side. But basically every night that I didn't have my son, which is anywhere from 3 to 4 days a week, I was either scheduling an auction, a live auction, or I was catching up on shipping, or I was getting ready for the next auction. I worked my tail off. I put a lot of time into all of this stuff, which none of that is calculated in this. You're going to see the kind of sexy numbers, the profits and all of that. Just know that there's a lot of hours that goes into this that I put in there. And it was worth it. It was totally worth it, but I enjoyed doing it. So keep that in mind. Also, throughout those 13 auctions, that 1,174 lots, that means I sold 1,174 lots of items. It could be one thing. It could be a whole bunch of things. So every time that I put up something for auction on Whatnot, they consider that a lot. So it could be one minifigure. It could be a lot of 10 minifigures. It could be a sealed set, a used set. Anything is a lot. So 1,174 times I put an item up and it sold on Whatnot. That number seems crazy to me. It seems wild that I was able to move that much inventory in 13 auctions. Let's do some quick math and do some division and see on average how many that is per auction. All right, so 1,174 divided by 13 is 90.3 items per auction. So that's pretty neat. So the amount of items that I sold on eBay in a month, I was doing that per auction on Whatnot, and that's truly the power of Whatnot. You're not going to get the same amount of money that you would on eBay, but you also have such a smaller time constraint, and if you've got a ton of inventory that you need to move, I think that there's no better solution currently than Whatnot. All right, let's look at gross sales. This is like the sexy number. I feel really awkward saying that word, but you know, it is what it is. This is the number that doesn't take into account cost of goods, fees, shipping. So there's three things that you know will ultimately take away from this number, but this is the, hey, let's look at this number. It looks really good. This is the amount of product that we moved, and that amount of product on eBay is $1,985.60. Compared to the previous month, I'm down quite a bit, almost $500. Again, you know, down from February, about the same as January, but that makes sense. As much time and effort as I was putting into Whatnot, that number should be down a little bit, and I'm still kind of surprised that it's almost $2,000 good, because I feel like I was neglecting eBay for the majority of the month. But every day, you know, like on average, I ship 3 to 4 items on eBay. That's kind of where I'm at right now. On Whatnot, however, look at this number: $7,747 worth of dollars and cents that I sold on Whatnot. I do not have any idea, nor do I know how to track the amount of money that I spent, so cost of goods for that. It's so difficult, and that's again going back to that's the hard thing about Bricklink. You buy a set for $25, you part it out, some of the parts sell, and then you're left with these other pieces of it, and it's almost like a stock in the stock market, but there's not a specific value attached to that specific piece. Maybe the 2x4 bricks didn't sell. I have no idea how much those 2x4 bricks really cost me. I have no idea what my cost is. So I think after I get through the parts, it's going to be much easier to track. I already keep track of what I spend to the cent on sealed Lego sets. That's the exact same thing as an eBay good. Those are sealed sets. It's a one-time exchange of cash for goods, and that's really easy to track. You can't do that with parts. So I have no idea what my cost is. I don't know what that is for that. All I know is that I wanted to get rid of those parts, and I got rid of them to the tune of almost $8,000. So going back to, remember what I said, what my Bricklink inventory was valued at? There you go. I did it. I made it. I sold all of the inventory that I wanted to sell for more than I really had it listed for in Bricklink, which is fantastic because it might have taken me years to sell all of that inventory in Bricklink, or as evidenced by my inventory in Bricklink, some of it would have never sold. I had parts in there that I parted out. Some of the very first sets that I ever parted out, those parts just never sold. They just sat there and never sold. I digress. I'm getting awfully long-winded today. Let's look at the fees. Not as sexy. So we had $326.04 worth of fees for eBay. On Whatnot, it's just that 30 cent per lot transaction. So what I did was I multiplied 1,174 times 0.30, and that got me $352.20 in fees. That is all I paid in fees on Whatnot. Isn't that insane? On $7,700. Now, normally Whatnot's fees are 8% plus that 30 cent transaction fee. So whatever 8% of almost $8,000, that would have been close to, like $500-600 probably. So I saved myself $500 or $600 just by busting my hump and taking advantage of that no selling fees for my first 30 days. Hooray, ka-ching. Let's look at some shipping. That's fun, right? $562.26 worth of shipping to eBay. You're welcome, USPS. I dropped a ton of packages off there today, and I had a new milestone in my business. The postmaster there said, "You bring in so much stuff. How would you like to have some of these USPS bins that you can just put all your packages in? You bring in the bin, you set that on the counter, and then you can leave. You don't have to worry about packing up your own bags, unpacking your bags." I was like, yes, new business milestone. I will take some of your crates. Thank you very much. So the shipping on Whatnot, it's kind of an interesting thing. I didn't pay in anything on shipping because all of the shipping fees go directly to Whatnot. Whatnot handles all of the shipping stuff. So whereas on eBay, you've got this number, and then they take out the fees and they take out the shipping, and then what's left over is what actually winds up in your bank account. That's what they pay you out for. However, on Whatnot, you just don't have to worry about those shipping fees or costs or whatever. The only thing that you have to consider, though, that I've discussed in a previous video is that all of the materials that you have to utilize for shipping. So for me, it's business cards, bubble mailers, plastic bags, shipping tape, void fill, boxes. I mean, there's quite a few things that you got to think about and come up with on your own without seeing any money for. Whereas on eBay, usually eBay charges the buyer, on average, what I've noticed, about $1 to $1.50 more than what it's going to cost you to ship the item. And that is with intention to cover your expenses for those various things. And I appreciate that. So on Whatnot, you don't get that, but you also don't have to worry about shipping fees. And then that information that they report to the IRS, you also don't have to worry about backing it up and saying, wait. Yeah, I got, $10,000, but I had to pay $5,000 of it in shipping and have to have like records of that, like I have to have for eBay. So there's pluses and minuses there. Net sales. So this is the net sales minus the fee. So it's gross minus fees, minus shipping, left with your overall total. So overall kind of take home total for me was $994.07. Again, that does not factor in cost of goods. On there, I'm usually flipping things with a really good turnover rate. It would be, I don't know, it would be hard for me to even assess what my cost of goods there. I would say conservatively, maybe $300 for cost of goods, maybe. Again, I don't know. Maybe I need to dive into that a little bit more and track it better. I've got another spreadsheet, like here, you can look at this spreadsheet. So this is where I track all of the stuff that I list. If it's in red, that means it's sold. So there's a lot of stuff that hasn't sold, obviously. But I say, like where it is location-wise. I say what the price it is that I paid for it. And then I write in there what the listed price is for it as well. So I'm keeping track of that stuff, but I'm really not. Like, I'm not going in there and I'm picking each individual thing that sold and then calculating my cost of goods. So we'll go more in depth in the expenses tracker here in just a little bit. But my overall net sales on Whatnot were $7,394.80. So that's just the gross minus the fees. That looks really nice. I like that a lot. So cost of doing business in previous months, this has been substantial. I like to make money. I like to spend it too. And I don't spend it on stuff for me generally. I've got a couple things that I spend on myself. Lego, Pokemon cards, things of that nature. But I'm not tight. I am frivolous with my spending. I don't drive, like brand new cars or like crazy stuff like that. Clothing, I get all of it at thrift stores. So my cost of doing business and the goods that I buy, it's not stuff that I'm using for personal use. It's really stuff that I'm reinvesting in the business. So you can see last month, it was quite a doozy. We had $2,343 that we spent on goods to sell online. And so we wound up with a net of minus $703. That was a lot of fun. This month is going to be a little different though. So I do keep track of everything that I spend money on, both supplies and goods wise. This month I spent $225.99 on supplies. So we'll go on over to that spreadsheet and we're looking right here at the month of April. So that's all the stuff, poly mailers, tape, zip bags. I bought a membership at Costco so I could get some cheap Lego sets, thermal labels for printing, and bubble wrap, and some 12 by 15 bags, kind of a 2-for-1. You can see eBay is definitely my place to go to buy all of my shipping supplies. I'm tax exempt on eBay. They've always got the best prices. So that's where I'm getting most of my supplies at these days. So then the next little piece of the cost of doing business puzzle is goods. So this April I spent $1,704 on goods. So we'll take a look at that as well. So here we are in the month of April, and it's a lot of stuff at Walmart generally. So Pokemon cards, Lego, a Switch game, stuff on eBay like eBay lots, Pokemon cards to the Maximus. It adds up very quickly. So that's the goods that I spent. So it's less than last month. That's good. But I mean, all of this stuff, all of these are reinvestment opportunities. None of this stuff is personal use at all. So that gives us a total cost of doing business of $1,930.62. And that gives us a total take-home pay of $5,464.18. Whew, that feels really good. That feels very solid. I started this journey with the sole intention of paying off my house. I want to be debt-free. It's kind of that's still very much an intention of mine. The money that I make from my business, I would say 50% of it goes directly into my savings account every month. I probably reinvest a good 25 to 30% of it, maybe more, as you can see from the goods. And then the rest of it is just like personal use, like buying Pokemon cards and stuff like that makes me happy, keeps me going, things like that. But yeah, it feels really, really good to have a goal to be out of the Bricklink part out game. That was a huge time suck. And now it really opens up the door for me to expand my eBay operation and to go really hard into that. And I'm still going to be doing like Lego set investing. That'll still be a thing. My presence on Whatnot is going to change slightly. Here in the last couple of auctions, I have experimented with buying minifigure lots on eBay, which is generally what most of the Lego auctions on Whatnot consist of, is just minifigure auctions. And I've had some success doing that. The first one I made about $300. The second one I made about $200. It's a lot of fun to do it. I think it's a great way to generate interest for the YouTube channel, which is definitely something I would be interested in, because at some point it would be awesome to be able to monetize these videos and have an income stream coming in on Sold by Ronnie on YouTube as well. I also sell on Poshmark, Mercari. At this point, those places are not substantive enough to kind of necessitate financial breakdowns. Today I found out that I can sell on Facebook Marketplace until the end of the year and pay no fees on there. So that might be a thing that I look more into doing, but that's going to wrap up the video. It's been a long one. I feel like I've been rambling, but I'm just really excited. If you guys have any questions about my business, about my policies, and I don't have any policies, about my procedures, how I do things, I'm an open book. Just ask away. I'd be happy to answer those. So yeah, hope you guys are doing well, and we'll see you in the next video. Happy buying, happy selling. Take care, everybody.